Good morning and Merry Christmas from Florida. Those are my presents. Leave them alone. Back in the house, I'm keeping the feast simple today, starting with a little ham. I'm going to do a honey mustard glaze on it, but a slightly different recipe this time that I stole from, borrowed from Chef John over at Food Wishes. First thing to do is just to lightly score the thing. About a ½ inch apart. And maybe a ¼ inch deep. Or so. This just gives the glaze, bleh, this just gives the glaze someplace to go. And give it a sort of a diamond pattern. Now it'll go into a 325-degree oven for about 20 minutes a pound on a rack, and it'll do the first 20 minutes before I glaze it. Adding ½ a cup or so of water under it. And a small handful of cloves. Which allegedly gives it the nice touch of cloves without you accidentally biting into one of them, which I think is a grand idea. We'll see if it works. Now the glaze consists of a cup of brown sugar, and a ¼ cup of honey. Hurry up. Close enough. 2 tablespoons of a Dijon mustard. And 2 tablespoons of rice wine. Rice vinegar, which you are now supposed to whip into a thick paste, according to Chef John. Doesn't look too terribly thick and pasty to me, so I think I'm going to add a little more brown sugar to it. And after a couple more tablespoons of brown sugar, it's looking more like what I had in mind. Now to this, we add a pinch of cayenne, about a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, and a short slurp of Worcestershire. Stir that all together. Now, I will be brushing this on at 20-minute intervals for the entire 2 hours or so that the ham is baking after the first 20 minutes. Turn your back for barely a minute and a package mysteriously jumps off of the chair all by itself. Isn't that amazing? Alrighty, after its first 20 minutes, it's time for its first coat of glaze. Trying not to get the stuff all over the place, and not necessarily successfully. And when it's completely coated, back in the oven. I'll do this again in another 20 minutes. Now I'm doing the same sweet potato recipe that I did for Thanksgiving because it was so good. This is a perfect excuse to do it again. I'm not going to video the whole thing. I can put the recipe in the description below because I did it all the last time. It's so simple. This time, though, I'm going to sprinkle just a touch of cinnamon over the top of it. Well, let's see what that does to it. Now it will go into the oven with the ham at 325 for an hour and a quarter. You are so lazy. I have to unwrap it for you. And after 2 hours and 20 minutes, and using up all of the basting mixture and making a mess of the kitchen, that's what it looks like. Now it'll rest for 15 or 20 minutes or so while I tend to some other details. Now, in the interest of keeping it simple, I've taken a zucchini and split it in half. A little salt, pepper, a drizzle of olive oil, a little sprinkling of basil, and I'm going to saute it in about a tablespoon of butter and a roughly equal amount of olive oil. And over medium-low heat, I'm going to let it go for about 4 minutes on this side and then flip it over for another couple of minutes. A sharp knife is a happy knife. I do not subscribe to the Gordon Ramsay method of doing this because I like my fingers right where they are. This works. Now let's slice into that ham. Now, I have a feeling this is asking for trouble. It looks absolutely wonderful. Oh, well, that's cute. Oh, this glaze is fantastic. Let me get some of this onto a plate. Add a little grape. And it's dinner. The ham, the sweet potatoes, the zucchini, and a little salad plate with some baby sweet tomatoes, some shredded romaine, a couple of olives for effect, a hard-boiled egg, a little bit of a balsamic vinaigrette, and topped with some slivered Reggiano. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.